So first, let's meet Jim. Jim's from Europe. He's a war vet, and he's part of 1 billion people, or 15% of the world's population, that experience some form of disability. And people with disabilities, on average as a group, are more likely to experience adverse socio-economic outcomes than persons without disabilities. And let's meet Mary, who's based in the USA. She's part of a group where worldwide obesity has nearly tripled since 1975. And in 2016, more than 1.9 billion adults were overweight. Of these, 650 million were obese. And again, they're excluded from a lot of socio-economic activity. And both Jim and Mary will probably never get to go to conferences like this, or be able to visit and have experiences like the Museum of the Future. And Mary and Jim are part of 2 billion people that can't wait for digital disruption to give them back a life in society. So if we have a look at how industries generally get disrupted, it's the 6Ds framework. So you start off by digitizing an industry, dematerializing, demonetizing, democratizing, and when you get to the democratization and the demonetization, you end up in a deceptive state, which then leads to massive disruption. So let's look at the phones. They went from analog through a digital transformation, and we now have a computer in our pocket. We had cars that were very analog. They went through a digital transformation, and we now have computers on wheels. And we could use the aviation industry, maybe a bad example, but from very analog, mechanical, to highly technical and computer-generated software. And then we look at construction. From concrete, steel, and glass in 1472 to concrete, steel, and glass in 2010 with the Burj Khalifa. 538 years and not much disruption. So how could the construction and real estate industry be disrupted? And how could Jim and Mary get more included in society? Well, it's called the Metaverse. And right now, half of you are sticking your heads on your laps and going, seriously? And the answer is, well, Citibank estimates that the Metaverse would be worth $13 trillion by 2030. And 2030 is not far away. 8 years, 7.5 years. And there'll be around 5 billion users in the Metaverse. If you look at real estate sales currently online, 500 million last year, projected to be $1 billion in sales this year online. It doesn't take much to see even churches are going online. Major brands are entering the Metaverse. Tommy Hilfiger, Estee Lauder, I mean, the list goes on and on and on. Major property transactions that have happened online. We've had the most expensive property at $4.3 million being bought, 2.4, 2.3, 1 million, 914,000, 756, 759, 660,000. That's a lot of property for a computer-generated piece of land. And like in real estate, you get a real estate license, and like an architect, you get an architect license. There we go, I'm even a qualified Metaverse expert now. So now you get a Metaverse license. So what is the Metaverse? And we've heard a lot today through the session, and there's various interpretations of the Metaverse, but I'm going to keep it really simple. It's a series of mini-verses, digital environments, that effectively offer an immersive experience through avatars. If we take what many of you are in construction, a lot of you already have BIM models, you already have the ability to almost plug into a Metaverse play in a very simple way. But whether you've got an exhibition center, an oil refinery, offices, marketplaces, schools, university, if you have models of these, ultimately they can be uploaded into platforms. Virtuix happens to be our platform. But all we're doing is we're connecting, we're bringing avatars, tools, analytics, blockchain technology, firewalls, web-based, two-dimensional, lightweight, interactive scenes. We're connecting real people, giving them an immersive experience within any digital environment. So I guess the question is, who would actually want to use virtual real estate? Well, let's start with TEDx. So TEDx has started moving their talks online as avatars in the virtual world. We've got big banking institutions. For those of you that know South Africa, Nedbank, a big bank, the National Water Utility, they've gone online to host their events and their summits in a virtual avatar format. We have the, I always get this wrong, the Forum Generation Egalite, which is from Womenomics, including the South African President Cyril Ramaphosa making his immersive debut in the Metaverse. We have the FP&M teams that have also gone into the Metaverse. And in our own traditional businesses, which we are largely an engineering and construction company, we've been applying digital transformation, which includes virtual and immersive experiences for some time now. So besides developing virtual reality, which we did to enhance our project delivery in the oil and gas sector, where we started this out in 2016, all the way up to actually 2015, up to where we are now. This has evolved into the normal visualized animations, but we started using the Metaverse for a slightly different way now. So this is us, this is my team. So we're now having company announcements in the Metaverse, where people come into our auditoriums, custom built, and interact, and we can have good conversations. We have our board and executive meetings. In case you didn't know, that's my avatar. I always wear a cap usually. And torn jeans. If you see nicely, you'll see the torn jeans. But our board and exco meetings are all held now in the Metaverse. We have our company conferences in the Metaverse. And the result is that actually we've 4x'd our revenue growth on a very analog engineering and construction business in just 6 years. We've downsized our offices for staff and increased our margins. We've opened up career opportunities to lower base earners who can live outside of urban cities. We've scaled our training programs. We have 4,500 employees. Through being able to deliver this digitally, we've attracted younger talent. The average age of our management team is 34 years old, probably the youngest in the construction industry that we've certainly heard of. We're recognized as innovators in our sectors, and essentially, we spawned a technology business just by accident. The Metaverse also has a positive impact on the ESG. One study's found that by switching to virtual, you can reduce your physical gatherings carbon footprint by almost 94%. And Metaverse platforms broaden and democratize access because you can give access to people on a global scale. And like I said, for Jim and Mary, they can be included. They can participate as their alter ego, where they don't have to feel like they're excluded from society. So where are we in construction and real estate? Well, essentially, we're only at the beginning. We're at the digitization stage. And so the good news is that there's lots of runway for opportunity. So how can construction firms make use of the Metaverse? Well, the first one is they can showcase their final products in an immersive experience. The second one is that you can actually use it as part of your operations handover process. You can upsell. So instead of just delivering a product, you can now upsell and get longer-term maintenance. Whether that's malls, theme parks, industrial plants, corporate offices, you can provide training, onboarding, emergency drills, facilities management. You can convert it into virtual reality experiences, and you can gamify it, especially the theme parks. And so you can open up these opportunities to a whole new audience. For real estate firms, you can own your own miniverse, and you can rent out space on a business-to-business model. Whether it's conference venues, schools, universities, campuses, corporate offices, shopping malls, marketplaces, industrial plants. Many people don't want to pay their capex right now, and so real estate companies could be delivering that and renting it out. So the biggest disruption to the real estate and construction industry has just begun, and that gives people like Jim and Mary and 2 billion others a more inclusive life. And you have an opportunity to develop alongside your physical assets that you're building. So don't be the Kodak who said that the digital camera will never work. Don't be Blockbuster who said that Netflix will never work. And don't be the vehicle manufacturers that said that electric vehicles will never work. Accept that there is disruption on the horizon and start understanding how you can carve out your piece of opportunity in the future world, because there is massive opportunity. And here's a quick video just to put it all into perspective of how the avatars work in a virtual environment.